All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here with doing things a little bit different this week. Instead of getting a podcast of the opponent, we have got some alums. Todd, who is a Vandy undergrad and Georgia State grad alum, drinking his Golden Panther here, and then Kenyon, a buddy of his, who kind of embodies that, from what I understand, that state of Atlanta spirit about being the tailgate guy and the go to the game, watch the game, have a good time, and not worry about all the other nonsense kind of guy. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you, David.
Excellent. Yeah. So Todd approached me because I've been looking for a Vandy podcast, and I guess everybody that gets degrees from Vandy is way too busy to spend their Tuesday nights drinking alcohol and talking about sport. Is that the way it works?
It's debate too, so a lot of people might be tied up because of the debate. But there are a few school podcasts that do a weekly. They do a weekly. And they feel that they talk to other schools too, but it could be just because it's a big night in America, so it could be that may be why they turned you down. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I literally couldn't find I literally couldn't find in both of the 30-second time frames. I took to look one up. I did not find one, and then Todd reached out and said, "Hey, I went to Vandy, I went to State. I got my buddy Kenyon. Let's do this together." So, I really, a lot of appreciation goes out for you guys, scheduling this game for us when you're actually good. Everyone sees Vandy get put on that schedule 6 years out, and they're like, all right, we'll go ahead and put that permanent marker win right there on that book. And they now beat Virginia Tech and absolutely manhandled your FCS opponent, Alcorn State, last week. Why are you good this year?
And why now?
Well, Kenyon, I'll let you speak in a second because you've been the one actually sort of at the games, but I'll be cautious to say that we're good just yet. Yeah, we beat Virginia Tech, but if you saw any of that game, we held on to the skin of our teeth just to make that into an overtime game. And then we were fortunate that the quarterback of Virginia Tech got knocked out of the game. So it's a little questionable to see if the jury's still out. I think this will be a good measuring stick, honestly, for both teams this weekend. So I'm kind of excited from that standpoint. But yeah, what do you think, Kenyon?
Yeah, I think to me it just comes down to one thing only, and that's Pavia. I think that we have a quarterback that's truly 100% like has that it factor. Like he may not be the best quarterback in the country, but he thinks he is. I think just having that mindset, like that's huge for a school like Vanderbilt, who really doesn't. We don't have the best talent, but I think when you have somebody who truly believes that they can win, and it's hard to like keep a dog like that down. And Pavia has that. I think our past quarterbacks have been a little bit more just kind of go, run of the mill. We win, we don't. But this guy is a player. He's out there to win, and I can tell.
So I was looking at this. So he's a transfer quarterback. You guys bring him in transfer portal. Like everything is transfer nowadays. He's the Conference USA Player of the Year last year, which you don't expect somebody from Conference USA necessarily being like that one that can a quarterback that can transition to the P4 level and just automatically produce. But on top of that, he came from New Mexico State, who was in the Sun Belt with Georgia State for a few years and was like just a bottom feeder, bottom dweller. And all of a sudden, New Mexico State comes out. I think they beat Auburn last year, and then and now he's there. So of course, this is just set up the perfect disaster for Georgia State. You have New Mexico State quarterback at Vandy coming to Atlanta, and we're gonna get our asses handed to us. That's what you're telling us.
I don't believe that for a second.
Actually, all I can tell you, like I would be shocked if we leave Fulton County with a win. I would be shocked. I really think that that I would be shocked because I know that, and I'm not talking about the team, but I just know that whenever the expectations get so high, we just seem to kind of go, down. So while I think we can win, I wouldn't be shocked if we did not win because, we're not used to having, the conversation being a positive, on Sports Center and things like that. We're not used to that. And every time it happens, it goes right down.
Once upon a time, Vandy did make College Game Day during our sophomore year.
That's true.
Was it you guys? Did you do it?
I missed that game. I missed that game because I was in a city called Talladega, Alabama, for a NASCAR race. Right. I either had a choice. I had a choice to go to game day at Vanderbilt or to go to Talladega. I'd already bought the Talladega tickets long beforehand anyway, because you don't know what's the College Game Day is coming until like a week before. So who would have guessed that he would have been 5-0? So I couldn't just turn down the Talladega.
You realize that Talladega happens every year. College Game Day at Vanderbilt may be a once in a lifetime opportunity.
That may never happen again.
So we had College Game Day at Georgia State, but we at our stadium, but not at our game. They had it for the kickoff with the Meek Swack thing, and we all went down there because we're like, we know that College Game Day is never coming.
We'll never be here. Yeah.
Tim or Ryan, did you have a question for these guys before I keep rambling on?
I regret that. Trust me, I regret that because we won. We beat Auburn. That was great. It was a great.
Oh, there
time.
You go.
I hit that.
So Kenya, I just want to ask you, I was looking at your records historically. The last winning season was 2013, which is a long time ago. As Georgia State fans, I don't know if Todd has told you, but we've had problems kind of stringing together winning seasons as well. Coming out 2-0, I know you said you wouldn't be surprised if you guys leave with an L this game, but what are the feelings around Vanderbilt football and fans, and are they really feeling high in the season? This is the season we're going to have a winning record. It's going to be a great season. Obviously, you got to temper expectations a little bit. You still got Georgia to go through and a bunch of other things. But
if I had to, I would probably, from what I'm reading on Facebook and message boards on Vandy Mania and stuff, I believe the word I would use would be cautiously optimistic. I think that there's optimism, but again, I go back to what I said a while ago. It's just and what Todd said, we're going to find out a lot this week. If we go out, I think we're 10-point favorites, I believe, or I think it opened at 8. I think it's
9.5, 10.
Where's that now? It's 10.5. Oh wait.
I've seen 9.5 to 10.5.
9.5 to 10.5. Yeah,
I didn't realize it was 8, that close.
I think it opened at 8, but it's got steamed up to 10. If we go in there and take care of business and cover 10, if it looks convincing, I would think, okay, we might be able to go to a bowl game. But if it's a struggle, I'm going to be like, But here's the thing about Georgia State. I was thinking about this earlier. I remember out watching that Tennessee game a couple of years ago when they went into Knoxville and beat them. I was at the Vanderbilt tailgate and watched that game. So we know Georgia State has history, of upsetting teams, and so I don't think it's going to be easy. But going back to your question, or to circle back around again, though, I think we're cautiously optimistic that this could be a good year. But we've also started off 5-0 before, beat Auburn, had College Game Day, and barely made a bowl game.
I mean,
we started off 3-0.
Right. You still got Missouri, Alabama, Texas, LSU, and Tennessee to deal with. Yeah, and then you got some other games in there
games.
Right,
there's some winnable games. You got Kentucky doesn't look that great this year, obviously.
Ball State.
South Carolina looks winnable. So there's some
SEC leading South Carolina right now. Aren't they the number one team in the SEC right now? With their one conference win?
Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah.
I learned that from watching SEC Shorts videos.
Crazy.
Yeah, because they beat Kentucky. Yeah.
What else is a shining spot? What else is a shining spot on the team that we should look out for? I saw, it looks like the quarterback that you guys were talking about. It's a lot of real short. It seems like some short passes and maybe like a couple of big explosive, but not a lot of passing out of him at all. Maybe a lot on his feet. But is there any other shining spot on the team besides him, or is there something he's enabling? You think, or?
Offensively, I would say Cedric Alexander, the running back, is probably the other big guy to be watching. And I'd say the stats may be a little misleading about Pavia, just because, I mean, last week it was a blowout. They definitely weren't going to be passing a whole lot, and that first week he was definitely in full dual threat status that week. He was doing things on the ground and through the air. So I don't know. To me, he's a dual threat guy that is going to probably, with Georgia State's history, we tend to not do well against those dual threat guys historically. We'll see.
Hey, I think Todd. Oh, sorry.
No. You go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that dual threat's going to come into play really big this week, because I think the weather's not going to be the best. So having somebody like Pavia that can do some stuff on the ground might be the difference. I don't know anything about your guys' quarterback. Is he a dual threat too at Georgia State?
Not really.
Or is he?
Not really. He's all right. He can get up and go when he needs to, but he's not like I wouldn't call him dual threat. He can make a play, but
he's not looking to run.
Yeah, it's only if it's available to him that he can do that. He claims that he's playing RPO, but that might be what they call it, but he knows exactly. There's no option. He knows what's happening at the beginning.
He's following a line of guys that were true running threats, and Darren Granger and Quad Brown and Dan Ellington. So we're used to having quarterbacks that really are that dual threat, and Veyer, while he's risky. You don't want to give him that chance. Yeah, he's not that kind of like make plays with his feet on his own type thing. You give him some space to run, and he'll take advantage of it. But he's not going to be like somebody that we had in the past that would just
and like
make
week one, he
happen.
aired it out a little bit more often, and it seems like week two they kind of pulled him back a little bit, and he was doing a little like the dink and dunk type stuff, little pro style, like just getting it up the field. So. Who knows what feedback he was getting on those bombs that made him pull him back, but we'll see.
Yeah, I noticed something interesting, and I don't know if you guys. So I was looking at the box score of the game, and it had obviously Diego Pavia, taking all the snaps and everything, but then it said that there was one passing attempt by Eli Stowers for one completion, 17 yards, and a touchdown. And I was like, well, that's a really good stat to have. But then when I was reading through the game recap on Vandy's website, they said that Pavia didn't even play in the fourth quarter, and that Nate Johnson came in, and like there was no Nate Johnson on the rushing thing. Did he just hand the ball off for an entire fourth quarter?
He got some rushing stats.
Maybe.
I'll let Kenyon answer that, because I did not watch
the third quarter. I had already kind of zoned out, and at the tailgate, we were at the tailgate at that point, and so I'm the worst person to answer about the fourth quarter.
Oh no, you're fine.
Once we were up that big, my attention that went to Saturday night party in Nashville.
Dude, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you at all.
Thing.
You sound like right up on. I literally have to go back and watch game footage after the games, because I don't remember what the hell. I remember the score sometimes. I remember win or loss. I sometimes remember the score, and but I got to go back and actually find out. And a lot of times, like after the Georgia Tech game, I came back and I was all bummed, and I watched all the highlights and everything. And I'm like, wow. Our team isn't that bad, actually. We actually looked pretty good. We just didn't get the points we needed to get. So.
Yeah, somebody's been posting up on YouTube like a 20-minute condensed version of the game. I'm sure all the teams are getting it, but it's been really, really nice the next day to just be like, I need to watch this game, and I just watch it in 20 minutes with all the best plays.
Right. So Kenyon, you're coming down here, right? You're coming down to the tailgate? Are you going to have your own tailgate? You're going to join ours?
I will be there. I will be at you guys' tailgate, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I will be bringing my Busch Light, and we'll be having a good time.
All right.
Are you still in Nashville?
I got a couple of Vanderbilt friends that are going to come with me.
All are welcome. Absolutely.
What'd you say?
Guys, I said all are welcome.
Thank you.
Bring it on. Bring it on. We'll give you Todd will make sure you got some of this Panther Golden Ale instead of that Busch Light to drink. And if you want to really step it up, Ryan will have some PBR there for you.
I haven't brought PBR yet.
That's true. Well, we're
drinking the
home game.
Panther stuff.
Smart move, Ryan. Smart move.
Hey, I'll take the free stuff. You know, we got a sponsor paying for beer. I'm gonna drink it.
There you go. What other questions do you guys have? Tim, Ryan.
Oh, I got a couple questions I've been asking.
Sorry. Why don't you ask us questions?
I don't know much about the Turner Field atmosphere. You know, being at Turner, what's that kind of like? What should I expect watching a football game at that stadium? You know, what do y'all think about playing there? How do y'all
feel? If you're sitting
there?
at a seat, if you're sitting, I think there's great seats all around. But if you're sitting in a seat at Center Park Stadium and you're like, "Wow, I want to get a different vantage point," there is a seat for you to go to move to. You will be able to watch that game from any seat in the house you want.
I'm gonna say something.
Turner Field. I don't play at Turner Field anymore?
No, we do.
It's converted to Center Park Stadium now.
It's called Center Park Stadium.
If you go to a seat and you close your eyes,
okay, gotcha.
Go to a seat, close your eyes, and you can like dream about baseball.
No, so you can still tell that it was a baseball stadium. You know that we've still got the right field.
Right field.
It like sticks way out. And we've got like the opposing side seating over there, and there's like a real big weird kind of space over there. But I tell you what, it's really nice. And people that come to our stadium that don't have it out for us, right? Like you get like your rivals in here, and they come and they shit talk some. But people who don't know about the program and are just visiting for the first time, they're usually super nice about it. I mean, they're like, man, the stadium is so nice, and I mean, it's a MLB stadium, right? I mean, it's a professional quality stadium in the middle of Atlanta. It's a nice stadium. So
Olympic Stadium.
It's really nice. I think we don't run it well. I'll say that. Like concessions have been a problem throughout, and some of the seats have been like let go a little bit. But like it's still a really nice stadium. But like, you know, there's obviously things we can do better. But it's
trying to get our money out of it before we start renovating.
I love it. I think this is the best case scenario for our program, because we were going to be in like we could have been in a high school stadium. I mean, that was like one of the options. So I'm excited. I love that we got what we got.
Granted, some of the high school stadiums in and around Atlanta are better than some of the opponents we have in the Sun Belt.
That's true.
So,
is it turf or real grass?
It's turf.
Turf. Yeah.
Oh.
And all the lines and stuff are sewn in, so unfortunately, like they can't use it for other stuff.
It's the exact same. It's the exact same company that put in the field at Mercedes-Benz where the Falcons play. So it's not only turf; it's the highest quality of turf.
Well, probably not anymore, but when it was put in.
Well, yeah, because Mercedes-Benz has already changed theirs out like twice, and we haven't changed ours at all. I don't think.
Yeah.
Kenyon, what kind of crowd do you think we can expect from the Vandy fans this weekend?
Just me personally, I know at least 12 people going down just out of my circle of people.
Sellout, guys. It's gonna be a sellout.
Well, there's a huge. I think the top 3 cities in America for Vanderbilt alumni, I believe it's New York, Vanderbilt, and then Atlanta. I mean, Vanderbilt, New York, Nashville, and then Atlanta.
The city of Vanderbilt.
Like top 3. Sorry, yeah. When I said that, I was like, wait, that's not what I meant to say. Atlanta has a huge Vanderbilt alumni base, and this is the first time I've seen us really embrace. Like I sent some information to Todd. There's a party Friday night on somewhere downtown. There's a party Saturday before the game, like a tailgate before the game, like an official, but like at a bar. What I don't know where it is. Some bar, restaurant.
It's probably Woods Chapel.
I don't know about the Saturday thing, but the Friday night thing, I think, is at Boca, the Mexican place on Sunday on Georgia.
Yeah,
very smart.
So the university's really embracing like Vanderbilt coming down to Atlanta. They really put some effort in. It's not just like a regular road game. It's like they've been doing some extra events around the game, which is pretty cool. I don't really ever see that anywhere else.
Yeah, Atlanta has a. I mean, Atlanta being like the big city in the Southeast. It doesn't matter what school you went to in the SEC. You're going to have a large alumni base here, and then you talk about being in Vanderbilt, Tennessee, not being that far away. It's an easy drive to get down here on Saturday morning if you want to wait to the last minute.
No thanks.
Yeah, but no, it's about a 3-4 hour ride down the road. So yeah, it's easy to get there. So I can't wait to be there. I'm looking forward to seeing all y'all and seeing Todd and all my other friends in Atlanta. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, I got.
Hopefully the weather doesn't stink. I think we got a hurricane coming through, but other than that, it should be good.
I got my dad up in Bowling Green, Kentucky, so I'm looking forward to the return trip so I can drop my kid off up there, come back down to Nashville, party it up.
Yes. Speaking of return trips, so we return to Vanderbilt next year, and you guys next year, and you guys have put in a lot of stadium improvements, big time improvements, right? What can we expect out of tailgating up in Vandy next year?
Tailgate scene is kind of still a little bit more to be left desired, to be honest with you. Now our personal group, we're the hardcore tailgaters. We're the ones that if the game's at 6 o'clock in the evening, we're there by 9 o'clock that morning.
Yes, my people are there.
If it's a 3 o'clock game, if it's a 3 o'clock start, 2:30 start, we're there at 8 or 9. So we're and then we tailgate after the games too. Like we our tailgate set up, and we're still just hanging out watching the other games that are after us if there is one. But yeah, we have a huge stuff. The tailgate that I do with my friends are all me and Todd's friends who all went to Vanderbilt together. About 13 of us have been doing this since 2013, and every Saturday, every home game, we're there. There are really friends that I do not see during the year except tailgate season. And we've been friends literally since freshman year of college. So it's actually really cool. I think Vanderbilt, because we're such a small school, you get that kind of like family. Like once you're friends for life. Not saying like that everywhere, but a small school like Vanderbilt, it definitely you have I feel like you're just a stronger connection. So that's what we use our tailgates for, is mainly just to reconnect every year. And make sure that we're all, seeing each other's kids and seeing, how their husbands and their wives are doing. That's what we use it for mainly. But next year, when you come to Vanderbilt, Tennessee, you're going to see a brand new stadium. We're going to be finished by then. The stadium's going to be completely renovated by then. I think you're going to be very impressed. We're going to have some different end zones, and they're going to be a little bit more luxury seating and just a different experience than you probably ever seen if you've been to Dudley Field before.
I've never been. I've driven through, and I like I said, I love Nashville. I've visited up there once, but I had just such a fun time. I loved it. But driving through Vandy, I was like, man, this campus is gorgeous. It's beautiful. I mean, it's just like so kept up, and I don't know. It's different. It looks a little different than a lot of other campuses, in a nice way. So.
I've only been to Vandy campus once, and that's when Georgia State basketball played up there. And I went up there, and it was a good game. I'm pretty sure this was still the R.J. Hunter time period. It was definitely Coach Ron Hunter time period. But after the game was over, my friend and I, we went out to like the bar scene around Vandy, and there was 2 bars. They looked to be the exact same bar, just with one wall separating them. One called Winners and one called Losers. And so we went. So we were the losers of the game. But I still walked into Winners, and it was a ghost town. And then I walked across the wall into Losers, and it was packed. And I'm like, Vandy is so used to losing games that's just where they go.
Everyone goes there.
That's no slight. We were the loser that night. So we were the loser. So
that's actually very good. Well, to be fair, Vanderbilt and Nashville's The only thing I really hate about Nashville, I don't like about Nashville, is that we're not a college town per se. There's so much. We're not like Athens or Baton Rouge, or where everybody in the city is rooting for you. We have some people, the Tennessee fans here, Alabama fans here, everywhere. So we don't really. That's one of the things I don't, I kind of don't really like about Nashville. So I wouldn't say it's everybody's losers because Vanderbilt's losers. I wouldn't say that. Just because it's just
a better bar.
That's just the most popular bar in that. And actually, Winners just closed 2 weeks ago. Actually,
wow.
Unfortunately, it just closed a couple weeks ago.
Bad timing.
And now, now it's a new country singer bar. If you listen to country music, now it's a country singer called Raleigh Greens. So now it's called. There's Losers. And there's Raleigh Greens bar. So
rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah.
A country bar in Nashville.
No more winners.
Need another yarn, Kenyon. We can appreciate what you mean by not being a college town. Here in Atlanta, obviously, Georgia State and Georgia Tech right next to each other, and it's all Georgia games are all that's on anywhere you go. So,
and what's funny is Atlanta has Georgia State, Georgia Tech, the HBCU block that's like a huge section of town, and I'm thinking I'm probably missing one or two. There's the girls' school out in Decatur.
Agnes Scott.
Yeah. We are like a college town, but you wouldn't know it. Living here, you wouldn't have to. It's so crazy how many colleges are here and how many college students are here. It's not a college town. It's a big metropolitan international city, but we got colleges all over.
Me and Todd went to Georgia Tech. Didn't we, Todd? We went to Georgia Tech a couple years ago.
A Georgia Tech Vanderbilt basketball game.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I was like, what do you mean we went to Georgia Tech?
It's like, Todd, you're with us.
Oh,
no, we went to Vandy. That's why you're on the podcast.
We would have had you on 2 weeks ago.
He's from the city of Vanderbilt. Remember that. He's from the city of
Vanderbilt. Sure. Yeah.
City of Vanderbilt, Tennessee.
There you go. All right. You guys we kept them for almost 30 minutes here. You guys got any more questions?
I'm good.
Excellent. All right, Kenyon, I expect to see you on Saturday. And we'll have a good time. Win or lose, whichever bar we go to afterwards, we'll both be winners. All right. All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
All right. Thank you, Scott.